Alright, so
Oh,
it was the Warlock of Zuiwo Ben out by LiBo there. Alright, so it's going to be Druid, Warlock, and Paladin there for LiBo against the Paladin, Shaman, and Druid of Zuiwo. Just to reiterate, I know a lot of you guys probably don't know this place. It's Zuiwo, Celestial Zuiwo, excuse me, on top, and Snake's LiBo on the bottom there. It's going to be Shaman versus Zoo starting out here. So no more Resident Sleeper. We had too many Resident Sleeper games. So we're gonna start off with this, and yeah, Zio, he's taking his time. Gonna life coach this one out, and I don't really see any other play other than going with the Surf and the Middleton. I guess he was a bit concerned about 3-2 coming out, but he has a way to deal with that anyway. And I think you go with the Mage here, even though the Druid. I mean, you can get extra damage if you pick up the Doom Hammer later. The mage, you can pick off stuff behind taunt, which can sometimes be an issue. If there's an abusive sergeant behind something like a void walker, it can be tricky, and that way you can just use your hero power in that instance. So, what would you go with here?
I think, yeah, I mean, they're both reasonable. Depends how much Zuiwo knows about LiBo that he's.
Oh, right, he hasn't been able to see any of his games yet.
Yeah,
Huh, that's interesting. that's that's kind of awkward. Anyway, um, so yeah, we see the Nerubian Egg come out of LiBo, and that should be a dead giveaway. That's one of the cards that's not in both decks. We'll see what Zero comes up or does here, I should say. Um, I mean, if he goes for, he could go for the Night Juggler, he could go for the Totem Golem. I can't really see anything else here. But unbeknownst to him, if he goes for the Totem Golem, it will get punished a bit harder than it would if he went for the Knife Juggler, because he'd be overloaded for one, and that guy would get immediately killed off by the Power of Whelming. So that could be on his mind. However, I mean, he did see this this egg played out right away. So it looks like he's gonna go for the Totem Golem, realizing that there's two things that kill off the Knife Juggler and the Abusive Sergeant and the Power Whelming War. In this case, it's only be one thing. Unfortunately, he gets a bit punished there, and right on time is that Flame to fill out LiBo's curve.
yeah, that's very fortunate for LiBo there. And
Well, this isn't too bad for Zuiwo though. He can go ahead and play the Tunnel Trog and Lightning Bolt. I think. Do you Lightning Bolt the Flame Imp, or do you Lightning Bolt the Nerubian and attack in your Finley Murgleton?
I mean, both options are kind of awkward. I would probably not think. Well, I mean, you have to play around. Yeah, I think this is what you would do because you don't want to flow one damage, and you know that there's a danger of defender Argus in the future, so you have to clear. But this is getting awkward for Zuiwo anyway.
Yeah, I
That
mean, this is kind of the nightmare, right? You need to have somewhat parity when you're going into this matchup, um, and you need if it's back and forth, it's still okay for the shaman because they can maybe burst down the zoo. But if one side or the other gains board control, it's kind of over because it's kind of hard to get back into the game once you have board control. Looks like Zoo's going to take a chance here and is able to miss the knife. I mean, he basically risked that one damage for another imp coming on the field. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, if you gain early board advantage with the shaman, then you are able to just deal so much damage that the Zoolock can't recover. And if you're the Zoolock, if you gain board control, then the shaman can't get anything going, and they can't really race you at all. So that is what we're looking at right here.
oh, Young Priestess. That's a card that was in Zoo decks a long, long time ago.
Yeah, back in 2013, I would say. But gonna be some damage going to the face. Unfortunately, for Zelo's sake, LiBo does have Defender of Argus, so that's gonna shut down that Doomhammer right away. And we'll see what he puts it on. Goes ahead and yeah, this definitely makes sense. Gonna go ahead and put it on these two minions. The Dark Peddler can't be taken out with one hit this way, and the Imking Boss spawns another 1/1 once it's hit. This definitely makes sense. Unfortunately, the buff goes on the absolute worst creature, that being the Honda Creeper. Um, Zero does pick up a Rock Biter, but it's not going to be too useful on this turn, so we're going to go ahead and, and play it out that Ancestral Knowledge first. We might. Ooh, that's very painful to see that Flame Tongue Totem. We could see a Crackle here, but we could also see just a Ping. Ping does almost the same thing. You have to take 3 more extra damage, but just save your Crackle for the face. And I really can't see Rock Biter being played here.
Yeah, I was actually surprised somewhat by the Flame Town because you're bringing Symphony Mugoden to begin with, which you don't have other totem to work with, and Flame Town in general needs other minions to work because that's how it says on the card.
Yeah,
So
that's the exactly what it's there for, right? So you're definitely right. There's a bit of an anti-synergy there. But I do favor just going for this, going for the ping onto the Dark Peddler. I mean, you're gonna take extra damage, but if you don't save your damage, then I mean, if you don't win the game in the next couple turns, you're gonna lose this game anyway. So I do like going for this. And ooh, that's very painful.
another time.
I mean, every taunt is so painful because every time he taunts, speaking of LiBo here, he's preventing 10 damage to his face, essentially. Not 10, but basically you need to save as much damage as possible, and you don't really want to Rock Biter in this instance.
Yeah, because you're floating a lot of damage. But I guess. Oh, this is.
Lava
This is
Shock
it.
isn't too bad, actually. So what you could do... Let's see. So you can actually use all your mana, including your ping. So you Crackle the face, and then you Lava Shock the... well, I guess you don't have time to use your... Oh, you can use a Rock Biter. What am I saying? Okay. Starting over. Crackle the face, Lava Shock the Void Walker, ping the Void Walker, use a Rock Biter, and hit the face. And if you're lucky, you get your opponent down to 3. But
Yeah,
2
even if
5.
you're not, you get your opponent down to 6, and you have 5 damage already next turn, and you don't see the Zupe running a lot of heal, and you have already seen one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had to go for
Benefactors.
it here. I think you had to go for it here, though. So I wonder what he's thinking about. Honestly, he's gonna ping the.
And
That only saves him
why?
1 damage. That only saves him 1 damage because he takes the damage from the Void Walker anyway. So he's gonna Crackle, and this is strictly a misplay because he didn't use the Crackle first, or didn't use the Crackle first, so he misses damage from. Oh, another taunt. Uh,
On,
goodness. So yeah, he misses
on
damage
gaming.
from or sorry, not just miss damage. He misses the unlocked mana crystals for next turn. It probably doesn't make any difference, but I mean, he could have saved that and saved it toward the end. As
I mean,
for
he
as
could.
far as LiBo is concerned, 5, 6, 7, he could draw lethal right here with the Power Overwhelming or Doom Guard, but I think it's a bit safer to just go with this. It's really hard for your opponent to kill you through this taunt, so I do like this play. And yeah, just play out this M-King boss too. You're not gonna fill the board too much.
Well, I mean, you could just in case there is something like a element destruction. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, well, if
just
there's elemental destruction, you actually want to have it on the board because you get three 1/1s anyway.
oh,
Yeah. But okay, so is there any way for Zuiwo to win this, even with RNG here? Um, I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because
He might.
he has to use the Crackle. The crazy thing is, he had guaranteed lethal if LiBo didn't draw that Void Walker. He had guaranteed lethal if the Void Walker wasn't drawn. So yeah, LiBo is winning the battle of the draws here as he puts on his best Trog face, his best tunnel Trog face. So LiBo takes game 1 with the Zulok there. And he is up 1-0 in this series. Druid and Paladin left for him, whereas Zuiwo is has Druid, Shaman, and Paladin remaining. So basically the same thing remaining, except that there's an extra Shaman for Zuiwo.
Yeah, that's very true. Uh, Actually, druids are very bad in this situation. So I think both players are going to save the druid as their last class to get cleared. So they will think about which class is better against Secret Paladin. I mean, Secret Paladin versus Secret Paladin is not. I guess it's roughly the same thing. Like whoever draws the Doctor 6 is a better player, and
Well, I mean, we do have Druid here. I think this is Druid's best matchup, to be honest. Well, not really. I guess Druid versus Druid is a bit better, but it does really poorly against Paladin, and it can take wins against Shaman, especially if Shaman gets a poor start, because a lot of the time the Shaman is trying to apply some damage in the mid game, and that by that time the Druid is trying to do the same thing, so it could definitely work out
Oh
well
my
for the
god.
Druid. Yeah, Living Woods is pretty good here. Um,
And
if there's a top deck, Totem Golem won't be too bad here for LiBo, but instead gets the Lava Shock. Kind of an awkward turn for him, because if he goes for Ancestral Knowledge, then he can't actually even Lava Shock the following turn, because he won't have enough mana to even do that. But anyway, yeah, good start here for LiBo. Gets those Living Roots out in the field, gets a Wild Growth as well. And Zuiwo has really no other recourse than to just go ahead and play out this, meekly play out the Feral Spirits.
frustrated.
Huh.
Oh,
Oh, this actually isn't too bad. I kind of like this, actually. Otherwise, your 1/1s kind of get killed, and I mean, they're probably gonna trade in if you are Zuiwo there,
yeah.
because it's not. I mean, there's no 2 damage in Druid, right? Other than second Living Roots. So now Zuiwo is overloaded, and you have the board. So that's kind of nice. I mean, you're not going to have a better use for Savage Roar in the later game anyway. Obviously, the natural play, the play that was, you just play Shredder, right? It's turn 4, you play it. But I kind of like that by LiBo.
Yeah, that's very good for LiBo. Actually, that's where LiBo's experience really is working. We actually have seen so many times today that LiBo play Savage Row as an answer card instead of you just trying to win the game as a last hit with the Savage Row. So very experienced play by LiBo there.
Right. And as far as this turn, LiBo is kind of deciding between going for the Loatheb or the Shredder plus Wrath to kill off that Totem Golem. Obviously, if you can prevent any damage from going in your face, you're in a good spot, but looks like it's just going to go for the Loatheb instead. And this locks out most of the things in Zuiwo's hand. He can go for Night Juggler and actually picks up a Flaying Tongue Totem as well. He's kind of inclined to kill off this Darnassus before the Druid's turn 7, which is obviously notoriously, good. But he could also just use his Flame Tongue Totem as well. But looks like he's going to go for Night Juggler plus something. Could be Flame Tongue Totem, could not be. Just going to go for a totem of his own. And this makes his totem, or excuse me, his Flame Tongue Totem better on the future.
Oh, another thing you want the innovate
Yeah,
at
don't really
this
want the
time.
innervate at this point, but I mean, I think if you're LiBo, you'll take it. I mean, you won't take the innervate, but you'll take this position, right? If someone told you you would take 0 damage by turn 6 and you'd have the overwhelming board control, but you have to draw an innervate in turn 6, I think you'd be like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And your opponent has a hand of I don't know how to describe it.
What if you just
Just
go Ancestral Knowledge? I mean, obviously, I think if you're Zuiwo here, if you saw LiBo's hand, you'd be fine with taking this game slowly. But he might be pressured to start, fighting back or starting to get
I
damage on
mean,
his
yeah,
board.
I mean, it could be Dr. Boom into uh, Asian law because you didn't see anything
Mhm.
like that.
I mean, yeah, if you saw his hand, you just go Ancestral Knowledge, and then the Lava Shock, and then you have full, everything clear. You only spent 2 mana to draw those cards, but looks like he's gonna go for something else here. Gonna go for the Lava Shock and the Earth Shock instead, and gonna use his face to clear out the Loatheb, which definitely indicates that he has Flame Tongue Totem. So maybe LiBo will read into this. Druid the Claw is pretty good. It's much better than a lot of things he could have drawn. So gonna go with that, and just here power the face here. And on the side of Zuiwo, this is kind of the awkward part, right? If you're running into Druid and they have the board advantage, you're kind of worried about just dying yourself. So it can be pretty tricky.
I mean, Lightning Bolt is not bad, but
He really wanted spell damage here to just kill it off with the Lava Burst, but unfortunately doesn't get it.
That's not.
He can still use Flame Tongue Totem and Lava Burst, but he really wants to draw cards as well. So it looks like he's going to just take a chance and draw cards here. Argent Horse Rider doesn't really do much right now. If he had drawn cards first, then he could have been able to deal with this. I don't know. This feels like the Zuiwo is playing a bit quickly here. He has good instincts, but I feel like he's maybe under the pressure right now because I feel like there's a better chance of you getting an option with card drawing rather than going for the 1 and 3 totem. And by not getting the totem that he wanted, he's kind of locked himself mana wise out of a potentially good turn here.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Talking about more general picture here, actually, people from Celestial actually thinks that the control decks in Hearthstone at the moment is actually very weak. And actually, it was Chile who say that, and it's also the reason why they got so many fast stacks in BlizzCon as well. So maybe they actually want to change their mind, but since they're so successful in Team League, that change will be hard to come by. And we see actually LiBo not clearing this totem here. Maybe he's just too comfortable in where he is at the moment.
I mean, the 4 damage to face is pretty relevant. Even though that guy could get cleared eventually, you haven't taken any damage yet, and the more damage you apply to your opponent's face, the more that they're forced to kind of kill you. Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. He takes 2 more damage. He takes 2 more damage to his face in order to deal 1 more damage to his opponent. So that's how confident LiBo is here in this game. I mean, he's seen so much. Honestly, he's seen double Lava Burst, I believe. No, maybe just one. He's seen the Lava Burst. He's seen a Rock Biter. He's seen a ton of damage, being wasted by his opponent, and it's going to be difficult for Zuiwo to pick up a win here before the Druid kills him.
Yeah, and he will be able to draw 2 cards next turn, in fact, with that Y growth. So he actually is he's in the driver's seat, I would say, LiBo here. And there's a huge chance for him to draw something like a swipe next turn. But we will see. Force of Nature is not exactly it.
Force of Nature is reasonable. I mean, he can kind of clear this board for the most part. Picks up an Innervate, which is perfect for Zuiwo. I mean, Zuiwo needs LiBo to start drawing dead here, or else he has really no chance. And I was kind of, doubting Zuiwo's decision to clear the board last turn, but it looks like it's paying off right now, because otherwise there still would have been a Keeper of the Grove on board. And yeah, absolutely, this double Innervate is really bad for LiBo here. We'll see if Zuiwo picks up something. Picks up a Leper Gnome, which is not what you want to see. He has no more card draw left, by the way. He's used both of his ancestral knowledges already. So basically, he's just looking to have very powerful, basically just powerful cards here going forward. And the most powerful card in his deck is that Doomhammer.
Yeah, but Dread does. Oh.
That is the best card by far that he could pick up, because no matter what he picks up here, he can innervate into it. Do you just play out both? He could just play Shade into innervate BGH, or he could just innervate Hero Power.
Yeah, I think that's can do. I mean, you have threatened lethal no matter what, because you just play 1 Force Nature and you have a.
If you're Zuiwo, by the way, if you're Zuiwo, can you put your opponent on the second Innervate here? Can you read that? Because it's so unlikely that he didn't play it. I mean, you figure he would have played that Innervate with Savage Roar, right? You saw the other Innervate, and so he, even after the Wild Growth, he could have, or I mean, the Wild Growth even costed 1, so he might have used Savage or Force Nature Savage Roar there. Or do you think your opponent's saving Savage Roar? I mean, what could that card possibly be? I think you can maybe put your opponent on just Innervate there.
guess. I mean, we certainly can, but
Yeah, yeah, but
yeah, I mean, even we try to put ourselves in Zuiwo's shoes, we couldn't probably not imagine. I
I,
mean, did you
well,
were in that spot, but as of now, we I mean,
the difficult part is it's either Savage Roar or Innervate. Those are the only two options, and that's really scary to think about. So he's gonna go ahead and clear out this board. And hit the face. But I mean, he's got his opponent down to 18, but he's on a clock himself. Swipe is a
oh,
very good pickup here. And, yeah, I mean, LiBo is definitely taking control right now. No reason not to swing with the Shade right here, because, I mean, if your opponent uses whatever cards left he has to deal with your Shade, then you're obviously feeling great. 7 damage on the board for LiBo. Doesn't have lethal next turn. We'll have 9 damage by next turn, but not going to be enough for lethal unless he picks up something. But on the other hand, he is not even close to dying, so this game is looking really bad for Zuiwo right now.
yeah, Tom told him it's not bad, but do you kill this? Do you kill it clear? I mean,
He's
you
clear.
kill the
He has
snake.
no damage left if he does so, though. I mean, I guess he has to. I guess okay. Um, you have to just wait for a Doomhammer, I guess. But he's already used 2 Rock Biters, so I don't see how you win the game from this position. He's used all of his bursts. I just don't see it. He has no card draw either. So he has to draw Doomhammer, but then he's dead. So I mean, he's gonna concede here, even no matter what he draws. I'm gonna predict he concedes here no matter what he draws.
Double level there.
Double Lebo. Lebo likes seeing himself in the field. You can tell. Needs a taunt totem, doesn't get taunt totem, dead on board. That's going to be it. Zuiwo is going to concede, and Lebo takes game number 2. Bit of a surprise here. Is he actually able to take 2 somewhat unfavored, I mean, it's just slightly unfavored, but still slightly unfavored matchups there in the Shaman versus Druid, or the Druid versus Shaman, I should say, and the Zoo versus Shaman. And now, Lebo is down to his last deck. I should say, up to his last deck. Because he's already won 2, he's cleared 2, so he only needs to win 1 more game. He's on match point, and he's going to the round of 16. And he has Paladin, one of the strongest classes out there, one of the strongest decks out there in the Secret Paladin. I believe it's Secret Paladin. Neither of us can remember what he played. How do we not remember that game? Anyway, we think it's Secret Paladin. For some reason, neither of us can remember. All these games are blending together. We do know that Zuiwo is playing Secret Paladin, but it's going to need a win from the Druid,
Yeah,
Shaman, and Secret Paladin from Zuiwo to beat Lebo.
yeah. I mean, there isn't any mid-range party in this group whatsoever. So there was, I mean, we didn't see aggro party for a long time. So this is secret party.
Right. And yeah, it's just going to be a super uphill battle for Zuiwo, but I believe in him. He's a very good player. Maybe a bit inexperienced, but definitely has talent. We'll be going up against the WCA 2014 champion, though, in Lebo, so, and going to have to win 3 games in a row, so it's going to be a bit difficult here, but we'll see if he can do it. And starting off, it looks like with a Secret Keeper into likely a Secret. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case. What do you go for here, Revenge or Redemption? I like Redemption, because even if you get a
Yeah,
1-1 back, you're still okay. Or
yeah. I
do you
mean,
go? You could go for Revenge. Looks like he's not gonna go for. Looks like he's gonna go
in
for a need.
point.
Yeah, just pass. You could go for Revenge because it takes a bit of effort to kill the Secret Keeper, and then you could just play the Knife Juggler if your opponent ignores it. But kind of again an awkward turn for Zio. I mean, this is like my word apparently is awkward. Ever since someone pointed out in chat, I've noticed that I always say awkward. But it is very awkward for Zio. What do you do here? I mean, if you trade off your Leper Gnome, you don't have anything to play really. And if you don't kill that Secret Keeper, then it could get out of control. So it looks like he is going to end up killing that off. Knife Juggler coming out for Zuiwo, which is going to be, excuse me, for LiBo, which is going to be good for Zuiwo because he has that Argent Horse Rider in hand to clear that out nice and easy.
Nice thing is indeed that people might be thinking, where is okay? I mean, Master of Battle is something there, and still saving the coin for this turn 5 Mysterious Challenger. He needs that Noble Sacrifice. to deal with the minions that's coming his way, and another minion. Oh, didn't know.
Yeah, I think you for Zuiwo, I think you just go all in here. You just everything to face. Just play out the abuse sergeant, play out that leopard gnome, and just boom to the face. The healing totem is actually very good here. I was able to help him out a lot, and yeah, it looks like LiBo doesn't want to. Ooh, okay, that's a nice knife. I guess it was almost impossible to be a bad knife. I guess it was 2 and 5 to be a bad knife, but yeah, he's able to clear out this board. For LiBo here, but
1 in 3 actually.
1 in 3. Well,
Face,
face or
face,
healing totem.
yeah.
So there's 4 things on board, so 2 and 5.
I think.
Anyway.
So
So yeah, LiBo didn't want to play these secrets there because it was unlikely that anything would be traded into, and that would prevent him from drawing or extracting these secrets from his deck. So it definitely makes sense for him to go for that. If you're Zuiwo here, I think he's gonna go for Doomhammer, but I think what he's thinking about is whether or not he wants to kill the Knife Jiggler or not. And I think you do, just because you're not gonna kill your opponent quickly enough with what you have in hand. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and kill Knife Jiggler. There's too much damage on the field right now. You're gonna hit the face. And we're going to have a good old-fashioned race, boys. Mysterious Challenge is going to hit the field, and I imagine that other than... Oh, there is a Sludge Belcher. Other than hitting the, Noble Sacrifice, I don't think there's going to be any, removal here from Zuiwo. He's removed a lot of stuff last time, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time.
Yeah, so the totem gun is not really useful at this moment. First prize only, but
I mean, it could be. It's a distraction, right? You kind of have to. Your opponent has to kill it. One thing that's really huge here is if Zuiwo uses the Earthshock to deny 3 damage to his opponent, or 4 damage maybe, depending on what it lands on, then he won't have it for the Sludge Belcher, which is pretty huge. And in fact, if he does,
it's reaching for it. It's reaching for it.
And Snake could put up a Sludge Belcher and a Redemption, which would be absolutely devastating. So yeah, this could be game losing if Zuiwo goes for Earthshock right now. It's very tempting. You get 4 damage off the board right now, nice and easy. 1 mana, you kill it off, but then you get completely shut down later.
Yeah, I think you draw first.
I love you, Strink. Draw first. But yeah, this is so awkward. Yeah, this might be that might be a game losing decision, unfortunately. We'll see if maybe he can come back. Perhaps a crack. It's so hard though, because even if you crackle for 5, it doesn't really help. And to be fair, he did get rid of 5 damage, considering that there's a redemption right here, or not redemption, competitive spirit. But yeah, that's oh my god, this is so brutal. And Zuiwo actually has to win this game, or sorry, this turn. He cannot win after that. I mean, he just dies at this turn, right? So that's going to be it, I'm pretty sure. There's no way. Yeah, play LiBo. Before you die, play out LiBo. If you guys, unless you guys missed it earlier, there's the meme in China that LiBo, he looks exactly like Tunnel Trog, so people call him, or people say that Tunnel Trog is LiBo, but... Yep, he's going to kill off this Sludge Belcher. Going to get the bad news that it's going to come right back. And you see him already taking off his headset. Going to be concede. And LiBo is going to be your second player advancing to the round of 16. And congratulations to him as he does his best Tunnel Trog face for us.